Hey there, welcome to Over the Hill Outdoors. Today I'm building another igloo. This time I'm making what I call a short dome igloo. That's what I use when I have deep enough snow that I can create the lower half of my shelter by simply digging down 2 or 3 feet below the crusted surface. Each of my igloos I start by marking a circle in the snow that is the desired diameter of my igloo. And in this case today I want one about 7 feet in diameter, and this circle then is going to be my guide for placing the first row of blocks. Next I remove the soft snow that's covering my crusted layer. When working alone, I like to cut enough blocks for my first 2 rings, or rounds as I call them, and then I set those blocks inside the circle before I start to build my wall. For today's igloo that's going to take about 20 blocks. Conditions today are great for igloo building. The snow is what I call squeaky cold because temperatures have been below 0 degrees Fahrenheit for the past several nights, and days aren't too much warmer. Squeaky snow means that I can cut my blocks thinner but wider and longer and still have plenty of block strength. And the fewer blocks I have to cut and set, the faster I can build the dome. Alright, now I should have enough blocks cut for at least a couple of rounds on the dome. Okay, now I'm ready to set my first block. What I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to actually cut a little trench down into the crusted snow there on the base at an angle, so that this first block is angled upward on a slope, and that'll be my anchor point for building the rest of the spiral. Then I begin setting the blocks in place and trimming them to fit together in such a way that the outer face of each block is slightly bigger than the inner face, and that is what keeps them from falling in when the blocks are sloping toward the center of the igloo floor. For more detailed instructions on how to trim and fit those blocks together, I recommend that you watch some of my earlier videos about igloo building. I've built fewer than 24 igloos in my life, so I'm definitely not an expert, but I do have enough experience to offer some suggestions, I think, that might be helpful for those individuals who want to build their first one. In my very first video about igloos, I used a dome construction technique that I called the concentric ring method. I've never seen it done by anyone else. It's simply something I discovered through lots of trial and error. However, I've received lots of viewer comments informing me that this is the wrong way of doing it because it's not the traditional Eskimo or Inuit method. So first, let me say, I know it's not the traditional way, and second, it was never my intent to show how the Eskimos build igloos. I was simply showing how I prefer to build an igloo when I'm working by myself. In my experience, the spiral method is more difficult for the beginner, and it results in far more frustration when you're working alone. I suggest you try them both, and then you can decide for yourself. You'll notice that I use a ski pole to prop up my blocks. Using a ski pole or a stick works great to support the most recent block until the next one is set in place. Sometimes I temporarily also place a saw or a little stick below the last block for some added support. Once an entire ring is completed, it holds itself in without the need for any of those supports. Alright, here I've got my 2 rounds done. My 2 rings are finished. Get you a look at the inside here. Alright, now I'm going to dig an entrance hole and start cutting out some blocks from the inside of the floor here, and then use those to finish off my last 2 rounds or so. Alright, so there's the entrance, partially done. Good enough to get in and out of the igloo to finish working on it. I'll show you what it looks like from the inside. Alright, so there's my hole. Well, I've got all the inside blocks cut out that I think I will need, and ready to start setting the blocks to finish the dome. Alright, there's the almost finished igloo. At least the dome is structurally complete. I need now to patch up some of the little gaps and seams, throw some loose snow over the top to protect it from melting. Then I'll clean out the inside, put my entrance cover in there, maybe add a stair step or 2, and call it good. Okay, there it is. I declare the igloo done. It turned out a little taller than I expected it to be, but no 2 igloos are alike. Alright, I'm going to go in, take a break, eat some lunch, and show you the inside of the igloo. Here's my raised platform for my pack and fixing meals, whatever the gear I want to haul in here. And this other platform is my sleeping platform. I have about a foot headroom, more than a foot above me, and that's one of the advantages of building one of these, what I call the short dome igloos. The dome is only from here up, and then the rest of the area that I get in my shelter is by digging down below the surface. Got plenty of room for sleeping. This is my shelter up here. Got plenty of headroom. Another 6 or 8 inches above my head, and probably 6 more inches down at my foot level. And it's about 3 feet wide, this platform. This one over here, convenient for fixing my meals, so forth. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Again, go back and look at some of my other igloo videos if you want to get the whole story. But this is just one more way of doing it, and you really need to sleep in an igloo if you haven't done it. It's amazing how cozy they can be, and how relatively easy they are to build. So until next time, be safe out there and enjoy the outdoors.